everybody, welcome to my plan with me for the week of September 21st through the 27th, which is my wedding anniversary week. So I am using this Pink Planner Shop Wicked Cute kit. This has really nothing to do with my anniversary, except maybe that it's got movie stuff, because my husband and I did meet in a movie theater that we worked at, but I just needed another Halloween kit slot, so here we are. And then I've got some just like extra stuff in here. So I've got a sampler, an icon sampler from Carly Plans that I thought would go along with it color-wise. And then for foil, some of this is upside down. I've got Plan With Me stickers, Plan of Hannah, Kristen's Planner, and Leonard Designs. So lots of shops. I have these pink hollow overlays from Plan With Me stickers. I did foil these though, so that's my bad that they have imperfections. And then I have this really old Plan of Hannah foil bundle. So it's just got like pumpkins with it, and it is in the color pumpkin, I think. So then I also have this Wickedly Cute bundle from Leonard Designs, which was the original plan, but it foiled terribly, as you can tell. So I'm not going to use the entire thing. Like, this page is fine and this page is fine, but the rest of it's a mess. And then I also have these from Kristen's Planner. They are just Paramore quotes that I didn't use last year when I saw them. So I may or may not end up using those. But I will get right into the base. Before I get into the spread, I just wanted to show how this turned out. So I've got the like spider web checkers and then the candies under these jack-o'-lanterns. So pink hollow and pumpkin. I think it's a great combo, honestly. I haven't used non-sparkly orange in quite a long time, but this looks good, I think. So getting into the sidebar, I am marking that it's spooky season and that pumpkin is from my shop, Corks and Corgs Co., which is linked down below. I do sell icons, wine cork characters, and corgis. And other than the corgis, excuse this like messed up freebie, everything is hand drawn by me. Next, I am marking happy anniversary because this is my wedding anniversary week. And that is also from my shop. It's like a candy bucket. Since this is a very candy focused kit, I thought I would try and pull in some stuff where I could. So on the 23rd, the first thing that I'm marking is that it was 13 years since my husband and I officially became a couple. So we were definitely kind of dating before I agreed to be his girlfriend, but I had a lot of reservations just because I had been in a really bad relationship directly before I dated him. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to date right now, like at all. But Brian, my husband now, was basically just like, well, just don't completely rule it out in the future. He was like, you don't have to say yes now, but yeah. So the day before this, I hugged him for like 10 minutes when I was saying goodbye to him at his dorm. And he asked me to go out with him for, I think it was the third time at this point. And I said no. And then I talked to my friend, the one who I actually talked about in my last video that died last year, about it. And he was like, don't discount him just because like other guys have treated you badly. You know, I was really struggling with like, well, how can I trust him? Because all these other guys said they were different and they weren't. But he was like, you can't just count him out because the other ones were shitty. So I was like, okay, I guess, you know, I'll give him a chance. So then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll date you. Or something like that. I texted him. And Brian wrote down the date because he thought I would be one that would be like, I can't believe you forgot our anniversary. I had no clue. I would not know when our dating anniversary was unless he had done that, which is funny, but true. So Brian and I met at the movie theater. We worked together at the movie theater. We actually got hired on in the same group. But at the time, I was just graduating high school and Brian was a junior in high school. So, like, you know, I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. But I didn't really pursue it or think much past that because he was a high schooler and I was in college now. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But I do remember there was a time where we were all kind of standing outside of the theater just talking in the parking lot because that was like a thing we used to do after work if we didn't want to go home, but we were off. So there was a girl that asked for his number and she was just asking for it for like switching shifts, or at least as far as I know. But I remember being jealous and I was like, why am I jealous? That's weird. But again, just like moved on from that. I was like, well, whatever. That's weird. It's fine. And I don't remember where that happened in like the timeline of our relationship / working together. I have no clue when that jealousy happened. But anyway, fast forwarding to Brian's summer after his senior year, he was going to be going to the same college as me. So he and I were talking on Facebook Messenger because I had like not a smartphone, but I had one with some internet, which included Facebook. And he was on a trip in Germany, so he couldn't text. So we were talking that entire summer, like, you know, through Messenger. And then when he got back, we texted and stuff. But at the time, I was also talking to a couple of other guys. Wasn't taking any of it really that seriously because, like I had said, I got out of a really awful relationship right before. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't want to date. I'm just going to like talk to these guys. Obviously, Brian's persistence worked because we are married now. So, but I am and always have been my mother's daughter. I am stubborn to a fault. And so I think that might have been why I had to have things like on my terms where like I was like, okay, we can date, instead of just saying yes to him when he asked me. But the really funny thing was, and I was so mad about this at the time, I came home and I was like all proud of myself. I was like, I'm going to be, open and honest with my mom and tell her that I'm dating Brian. And I said, I'm dating Brian now. And her response was, well, I'm glad you figured that out. And I was like, excuse me? She's like, I already knew you were dating. And I was like, oh. So I was very offended. But clearly I get my sass and snarkiness from her too. So yeah, that just that still makes me laugh when I think about it. Because we had been hanging out for a very long, well, not a very long time, but we had been hanging out since he had gotten back from Germany, since the college semester started. And I would go over to his dorm and watch How I Met Your Mother because he had the show, and he said, I don't know, he lied to me and said the files wouldn't work on my computer, something like that. I don't know. But that was, because he wanted me to come over and watch it with him and hang out. Well, at a certain point, I felt like, okay, I feel bad. I feel like I'm leading him on because his roommate called me his girlfriend at one point, and oh my God, the death glare I gave that boy. He was like, he's tried to backtrack, but yeah. I was so not okay with him saying that. But yeah, we were functionally dating before we were dating. So that's the little story of how we met. And for Monday, I, of course, marked 13 years dating. And then I marked that I was working. The silhouette was needing a new blade and it was difficult. So that's why I used that one. And then I did some reading. I finished the book, The Unhoneymooners, which that was a really fun book. I really liked it. And I'm pretty picky about romance, so I was pleased that I enjoyed it. I don't like reading smut, and I also don't like romance books if they have too many sex scenes in them, because to be completely honest, I just get bored and move past that. So this one was not like that. After that, I did a post office run. I marked it as Happy Mail because I guess I was sending out Happy Mail, but I had the spooky script. And then I did get coffee. I got scooters that day. And then I planned out my bases for I don't know how many weeks. I got Taco Bell for dinner this night. We watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine while we were eating that. I filmed all of my September bases this day, and then our internet died. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just started an audiobook. Then on Tuesday, I marked that it was our 8-year wedding anniversary because I wanted to get married in October because it is my favorite month of the year, but the venue we were looking at didn't have any October dates available, so we went for the week before, which was September 24th, and I hadn't even thought about it initially, but I was like, oh yeah, that's the day after our dating anniversary, so that makes it easy to remember. So our 5-year dating anniversary was the day before we got married. The first thing I did this day was I had my morning chai. I did some editing upstairs. I was trying to do some work upstairs just so I didn't get distracted by everything downstairs that there is to do. Then I listened to a book. And since it was a weekday and my husband had to work the next day, we decided to just do a movie this night and do dinner on the weekend. But we went to see Beetlejuice, and oh my gosh, I love that movie so much. I can't even express it. Love the first movie. I was really excited for this. I had really high expectations because everyone that likes Beetlejuice and that had seen it told me it was fantastic. And I was nervous that my expectations were too high, but no, it lived up to them. I am so excited to see it again when it comes to streaming. I'm excited for Christine to be able to see it when it comes to streaming too. So yeah, it was just 10 out of 10. I love Jenna Ortega as well. I feel like I've said that before. I mean, I'm dressing up as her for Halloween, but so good. So after that, I got home and just watched some Gilmore Girls and did some planning. Wednesday morning, I listened to records while I was drawing, which I have scripts that say spin and draw for that. And then I went to Target. I got some Starbucks, and then I was getting my COVID booster because it's been going around a lot and it is obviously not good for anyone to get, but I have asthma, so any kind of respiratory illness hits me really hard, and I sometimes have to go to the hospital to get a breathing treatment. So got that, and then I did some shopping. So I went to a specific store that my podiatrist had recommended to get some really nice shoes, and they were super helpful. They asked what I was looking for, what my foot issues were, because I told them, why I was there. And then they were able to get me a pair of shoes that was specifically going to be helpful for that. And they knew that my doctor was going to put inserts in it, so they made sure it was something where the inserts could be removed too. So yeah, it was just really a good experience. I definitely will be going back there when I need to get another pair of shoes. But then I did some filming. I watched Gilmore Girls. I did some editing for my kit lineup. And then I watched the premiere of the show Grotesquerie. So this show, I probably would have at least tried, because I typically like Ryan Murphy's shows, even though I don't really like him. But Travis Kelce was going to be in this show, or is in this show. So I was like, well, yeah, I have to watch it. So Christine and I watched it, and we were screening it for Sarah because she doesn't really watch horror, or at least certain kinds of horror, just freak her out too much unless somebody's staying the night with her. So Christine and I watched it and discovered after partway through actually, the 2 episodes that were released that night, that Travis wasn't going to be in it until episode 3. So that sucked. We were still live texting through it, but it's gross. I know it's named what it's named, but it is grotesque. Oh my gosh, especially the first few episodes are just a lot. And there's some stuff that's just unnecessary in it, stuff they could have alluded to and not showed. The sex scenes were just I don't know, they were too much. But then the next day I woke up and I was feeling like shit. So I'm guessing I was having some symptoms from my COVID vaccine, which I typically will have some from it because that's just how my body does with it. But I was achy, stuffy. I was having some pain, which I had been having on and off pain flares. So that part did not surprise me. But I just kind of sat around and played Dreamlight Valley. I finished the book I was listening to and then started a new one. I did some drawing. I watched Gilmore Girls while I was planning. I feel like I'm going through all this really fast because I'm going to run out of stuff to say. But I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine with my husband while we had dinner again. And then I edited and uploaded my haul and did some more planning. So, you know, I got productive stuff done this day, but it wasn't anything that was super, like, I don't know, intense. I didn't have to move my body a bunch. We were supposed to have another Thursday night, like, football get together at Sarah's, but unfortunately I was just feeling too icky to drive. So I was like, yeah, I just can't come over, which I hate. I hate canceling. I hate canceling last minute. And with chronic illness, it's just a part of life. Like, you have to sometimes, but it never stops being infuriating because it's not like I don't want to do these things. I just physically can't. So I need teleportation to exist. Because if I could have teleported, I could have sat on her couch and been fine and then gone home. But this is not Star Trek. I mean, I guess I could talk about my husband some. He loves to play video games, particularly PC games, and he likes, like, strategy-based games, which I don't understand because they seem stressful, but that's what he likes to do. And he's really smart. He built his own computer and has rebuilt it more than once. He is an engineer, and a lot of his engineering skills were self-taught because he does have a degree in computer engineering, but the college that we went to, their computer engineering program is just, to be blunt, not great. It didn't really teach him what he needed for the field. So a lot of what he knows, he's had to kind of teach himself and pick up on his, you know, on the job. And he works for a company that's based out of Salt Lake City, but it's a fully remote position, which is super nice because that means we can live wherever we want. As long as we're in the States. I'm pretty sure he couldn't move out of the country, but yeah, it's his old job. He had to travel a decent amount, and a lot of it was to Canada, mostly to the Kitchener-Waterloo area. If you know that area, it's in the same general area as Toronto, but it's a lot smaller of an area. I've never been, but I have heard enough about it from him. And his job now, he only has to travel once a year to go to Salt Lake City for, like, a work retreat. I don't know what it is. They do work stuff there, but I don't know what you'd exactly call it. But he has to travel once a year for that, and that's it, which is so nice because his last job, he just did all this, like, client-facing stuff where he had to travel and go, like, when they had projects going live, he had to be there. But yeah, now it's all remote, and I am much happier about that because I did not like having him gone. So yeah, and I mean, he didn't really like it either. Like, he didn't mind it at first, but then, you know, they just kind of started making him travel during the later part of when he was working there for stuff that he really didn't need to be there for. He was like, yeah, I did not need to physically be here. There's nothing I couldn't have done remotely. And yet they were still, like, spending money for him to go out there. So he doesn't like horror. He's not scared of it. He just really isn't into it. It just doesn't interest him. So typically about once a year, I can get him to go see a horror movie in theaters for me. So I really try to make it count. Like when the new Scream movie comes out, I saw the remake of Halloween with him in theaters. Yeah, so he'll do it some, but it's not his thing. He loves comedies, like comedy TV shows, and then also we both love to go see like Pixar movies, the animated movies. And then we were really into the Marvel movies, but we've kind of fallen off of that. We haven't seen several of them. And to be honest, I just got so overwhelmed and confused about what's happening in them. And I don't want to rewatch all of the movies because there's so many. So we haven't really watched a ton of those in the past couple of years. I feel like I don't really talk about them a ton, but it's not... I don't know, he doesn't like taking photos and stuff, and so it's not like I can't mention him online. I try to respect the fact that he's just a more private person than I am. So yeah, but that's kind of some stuff about him. And since I haven't been going over it, if you want to know where any of the stickers in this video are, just leave a comment. I just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to go back and say them all. But Friday, I picked up my orthotics to go with my new shoes. And then I did stop by Starbucks on the way home. I remembered that the Ed Sheeran tour documentary was out, so I watched that this day. And that was really fun. It was shorter than I would have liked, but it was from 2 years ago. So there's just been a lot of tour and stuff that's happened since then. Then I watched Gilmore Girls. I had a pizza night and we watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, played some Dreamlight Valley while I was listening to an audiobook because I just get sick of the Dreamlight Valley music. I've heard it so much. And then I did some planning. So on Saturday, we just kind of like had a lazy morning and cuddled in bed. And then we tried to go have lunch at a Thai place near us that we've never eaten at before. But unfortunately, they were closed. They had like a sign on the door that said closed today. So I guess it was just that day. But there was a college football game going on downtown. And so we decided to just leave the downtown area and go somewhere else. So we went to another restaurant that we have had before. We've had it DoorDashed to us, so we just haven't had it like in person in the restaurant. So we knew the food was good though. And that was fun. Then we had just some car talks. It's not a long drive, but it's about 20 minutes from my house. So mostly I was just yapping and he was listening and responding. But yeah, I like to talk in the car. I always have to have music on, but I like to talk. So I end up having to turn the music down usually. Then we played more of Hyrule Warriors. And I finished the book Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. And that book was really good. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as good, in my opinion, as The House on, or in Cerulean Sea. I might be getting the title wrong, but it wasn't as good as that one, but it was still a really good story, and I really enjoyed it. So then I played Dreamlight Valley and started a new book because I've just been checking out so much stuff from Libby now that I have a library card to another library. And so yeah, I'm like trying to get through these loans before they expire because the Kansas City library, which I still have a card to, has like 21-day loans, but the other library that I've been getting loans for, you can only get them for 14 days. And so I've just been trying to get through them, and I put a hold on like all the Harry Potter books, but I didn't receive them in the order that they are in. So I had to like read them as fast as I could once I did receive them. So it's just been a little bit chaotic, but I have been reading a lot, so that's been nice. Sunday, I had some plans with Sarah and Christine. So this morning, there was supposed to be a Spotify fans... You get to do a listening party with Ed Sheeran virtually, and then like ask him questions, which we weren't going to ask him questions. We just wanted to like listen and hear what other people asked. But Unfortunately, this day Spotify was down, so I think some people got in, but after 5 minutes, they had to shut down the listening party because it just wasn't working. And yeah, that was unfortunate because then they rescheduled it for the next Thursday, which Sarah was in school. She's a teacher, and I forgot to like ask her for the info, so neither of us got to do it, which sucked. But I had left my house really early. That's why I put that for driving to Illinois, because I was exhausted. And then we decided to just watch football. That was the original plan because the Bears were playing. And then the next game after that was the Chiefs. So Sarah's team is the Bears and Christine's and mine is the Chiefs. So we were like, perfect. We can just, do all the Sunday football. So I brought Link with me to Sarah's house because she's going to have to be keeping our dogs next year at some point. So we want to get them kind of used to her house, used to her dogs, because she has 2 dogs as well. And so I brought Link because he's just not as high strung as Evie, and I thought it would go better. I mean, he was mostly fine, but he did like pee in the house a couple times, which he does not normally do. But he also kept trying to go to the door, like he kept wanting to leave. I think because he wanted Evie with him. He's extremely codependent on her, so I felt bad. So next time I just am gonna bring them both, and we'll see how it goes. And if Evie's bad, we'll just put her in timeout. But this night, the Chiefs were playing the Chargers, and I did go home after that. I was in so much pain. I was having a really bad pain moment, and then I was also just exhausted from getting up early. So I played some Dreamlight Valley, and then I just went to bed early. So that is my week in full. I hope you liked it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.